When I saw both of them standing in my room, one holding birthday cake, the other holding cane, I knew my life was over. It is my birthday funeral rehearsal. My name is Kola. And until this incident, I was enjoying life like small chops at a wedding. Sweet, messy, and scattered. I had a full package girlfriend on the island. Bisola, banker. Clean accent. Smooth skin. The type that says, "Let's do brunch," and orders avocado toast like she knows what avocado really is. Then there was my mainland babe, Cynthia. Pepper soup seller by day, slay queen by night, loud, loyal. The kind of woman that says, "If you cheat on me, I go scatter your destiny." So of course I lied to both of them. To Bisola, I'm always working late. To Cynthia, "Island girls no fit understand me, now you be my peace, na so I dey balance sin with sweet mouth until that cursed Thursday." That morning I got 2 texts, Bisola. "Baby, make sure you're home by 7 p.m. today. I have a surprise for you, you'll love it." I smiled like a thief who just saw free meat until I saw Cynthia's message. "Kola! 7 p.m. sharp, day your house, I won't spoil you today." 2 women, same time, same house. In that moment, I knew I was the GOAT, not greatest, of all time. But the one about to be used for emotional sacrifice, I started sweating like Nepopole during thunderstorm. I tried to lie my way out. I told both of them I was sick. Bisola replied, "Even better, I'll bring soup and medicine." Cynthia said, "Perfect, I'll bring pepper soup and bitters." That's when I knew. Now there he go happen. PM. The beginning of my downfall. He heard the knock. Soft at first, like doom with eyelashes. I opened the door and saw both of them, side by side. Smiling like demons on promo, Bisola holding balloons and birthday cake. Cynthia holding cane. And what looked like a laminated list of my lies. I wanted to faint. My spirit actually attempted to exit my body, but the door was blocked. "Happy birthday," they both said. At that moment, my phone slipped from my hand, my legs weakened, and I knew God had logged out. They entered, locked the door. Bisola placed the cake on my table like it was an offering to a doomed god. Cynthia adjusted her slippers and said, the interrogation began. Bisola pulled out an envelope and said, "Here's a timeline of your cheating." Slide 2. Screenshot of me calling them both my piece on the same day. Slide 3. My famous line, "I've never felt this way about anyone before." Apparently, I had told both of them that. And one other babe on Twitter. Cynthia raised her cane like Moses parting the Red Sea, and locked the door with one foot like an FBI gently and whispered, "Oga Kola. Should I call police or pastor?" I screamed back, "Call heaven!" Bisola wasn't touching me. Oh no. Her weapon was emotional warfare. She sat down cross-legged and read from her printed notes like a TED Talk. Kola once said, "You're the only one who truly understands me." Cynthia, please, how many times has he told you that? Cynthia replied, "Every week, including last night." They both high-fived. Tears gathered in my eyes. I looked up and asked God, "Is this how Judas felt?" The WhatsApp voice note that killed me twice. Then Bisola brought out her phone. She played a voice note I had sent her a week ago. The one where I said, "You know I'm not like those Lagos boys. I don't play games. I'm ready for marriage. If only you'd just say yes." Then Cynthia pulled her own phone and played my exact words. Same sentence, same voice crack for dramatic effect. At this point, I was crying. Not the normal guy tears. I was sobbing like a baby goat lost in traffic. Then Cynthia said the worst words a man can hear. "Kola, remove your shirt. This beating is spiritual," I obeyed. "When you're in trouble and the only thing between you and disgrace is obedience, you become humble like soaked bread." The neighborhood news agency activates unknown to me. The drama had gone viral in real life. My compound people, those jobless goats, were outside with plastic chairs, watching. Somebody even brought popcorn. One woman shouted from outside, "Cynthia! Beat 'em well. Na him tell my niece say she no get wife material." Another mad, "Omo, make person stream this thing on Instagram live oh." I was now trending in my own compound. Then, Baisola stood up. That's when I knew the situation had gone from frying pan to cremation. She said, "I'm done. You're a fraud, a manipulator, a low-budget Yoruba demon." Then she walked to the table, carried her birthday cake and smashed it on my head. Butter icing entered my eyes. The candle stabbed my forehead gently, like a reminder that I was born to suffer. Then she did the worst thing. She turned to Cynthia and said, "Let's go. This one's not even worth shouting again." And then the two of them, former enemies, left together, like besties, like sisters, like Avengers who just finished defeating Thanos, aka me. Now I'm here, sitting on my floor, cake in my hair, cane lines on my back, no girlfriend, no side chick, no self-esteem, but that's not the worst part. You know what's worse? They left the door open. Now all my compound people are taking turns entering to console me, or laugh. One even said, "Cola, next time just marry Bible." I sat there, shirtless, with icing in my hair and emotional damage in my soul. Someone from Block C walked in and dropped a sachet of water beside me saying, "Oya, drink, brus, before you faint and become compound sacrifice." I couldn't talk. I just nodded like a baptized mosquito. As I stood up to clean myself, my phone rang, caller ID. Baby G. Baby G, I forgot to mention her. Wait, who is Baby G? Baby G is Gloria. My third leg of the triangle, the one I kept off social media, off WhatsApp, strictly Snapchat and Telegram. Lagos babe with curves that can cause visa rejection. I only see her on weekdays, when Bisola is at work and Cynthia is busy frying catfish. That day. I hadn't seen her in 2 weeks. So why was she calling? I ignored it. She called again, then texted, "I'm outside." Surprise. I dropped my phone. I screamed. I ran. "Cell PM, Gloria." Was outside, looking like Valentine in human form, red dress, golden heels, cake box in one hand, iPhone on the other. I had two options: jump the fence like a criminal, face my destiny like a Yoruba movie character. I chose the third option: hide inside my wardrobe like Joseph in Potiphar's house. As I squeezed myself into that tiny space, I heard her voice. "Cola!" "I know you're in there. Come out. I saw Cynthia and one fine yellow girl leaving your house earlier. What's going on?" My heart started playing Zanku. I stayed quiet. But guess what? My stupid neighbor, Baba Martins, that monitoring spirit, in human form, decided to update her. Gloria, you're the third one today. Oh, the other two don't beat him well. Come, let me show you the cane marks. Gloria enters. My life exits. She barged into my room, saw the broken cake, saw the balloons, saw the cane on the floor. Then she paused. Wait, was this supposed to be my surprise party too? She sat down. She didn't shout. She didn't cry. She just said, "Cola, come out. I won't beat you. I just want to talk." And you know what they say. When a Nigerian woman says she won't beat you, you better start preparing your obituary. But then I heard something even scarier than her voice. Another knock. A deep voice said, "Police, open this door." My spirit almost left permanently. How do I explain that I wasn't dead, just hiding from 3 girlfriends, 1 cane, and a cake curse? "Police, open this door!" Inside that wardrobe, my breathing slowed. My soul started calculating bribe prices. Outside, Gloria screamed, "Officers, he's hiding! Inside this house like a criminal!" I heard the wooden door creak open. My landlord had used his spare key. "Ogo officer, come in. That boy Don caused enough wahala for 1 year. My enemies were now multiplying." The police stepped in. Boots, batons, body odor. "Where is Cola?" One barked. Gloria pointed at the wardrobe like Judas at the Last Supper. The officer yanked the wardrobe open. There I was, bent like boiled plantain, shirtless, eyes red from tears. My only words, "Officer, I no get strength, just carry me go." Inside. The station? I sat on a bench like a women be. I nodded. I couldn't even argue. Then Gloria stepped forward. "Sir, I just want to say something before you release him." I looked up. Maybe she came to forgive me. Maybe love would win. She reached into her bag, pulled out a small brown envelope, dropped it on the table, then dropped the bombshell. That's his DNA test result." He's the father of my baby. That's his DNA test result. He's the father of my baby. Everything went silent, blinked. Baby? What baby? She continued. You remember that weekend in Lekki Phase 1 after we drank small Henny and watched that Korean drama? That was the night. I started sweating again. The coup. Officer looked at me. Oga Cola, how many more surprises remain today? Oga Cola, how many more surprises remain today? My head spun. My phone vibrated unknown number. I picked up, shakily. Hello, Cola. It's Amaka. I'm outside your gate. I brought your favorite jollof and I want to talk about us. Amaka? Another babe? Even the police officers paused. One asked, Oga, are you running a branch of the Ministry of Women Affairs? Inside the police station, the room fell silent. Even mosquitoes paused mid-bite as I whispered, Amaka is here. With jollof. The DPO squinted at me like he was watching an episode of Jennifer's Diary. How many girlfriends do you actually have, young man? Before I could reply, Gloria clapped back. Count with your fingers, then borrow your toes. One constable burst out laughing. Another started writing a comedy skit script. I was the joke. The jollof arrives, they let Amaka into the station. She walked in, glowing, confident. That I know something you don't look in her eyes. She dropped the foil pack of steaming jollof on the table, then looked at Gloria, then looked at me. Then she dropped a small nylon bag beside the rice and said, That's not all I brought. My mouth was dry. My soul said, Bro, run! She pulled out a pair of baby shoes. Wait, baby number 2. I started laughing. Not normal laughter. That type of painful, spiritual, I don't believe this is my life laughter. Another baby? Amaka smiled. Congratulations, Daddy of Lagos. Gloria stood up. Excuse me? I thought I was the only one carrying his child. Amaka replied with a wicked grin. You thought wrong. While you were snapping pregnancy tests, I was busy collecting his real DNA, and I'm 2 months ahead of you. The police officers were now fully invested in the drama. One whispered, This is better than Anikulapo, oh, and then... A twist. The DPO leaned forward and said, Cola, this is not normal. Are you sure these women are not working together? Suddenly everything started to connect in my head. Same birthday surprise timing, back-to-back arrivals, DNA tests, baby shoes. I turned to all of them. Wait. Is this a setup? They looked at each other and smiled. Gloria said, You remember 3 months ago when you told me you were traveling to Ibadan for your cousin's wedding? I nodded, slowly. Amaka added, You told me the same story. Same cousin, same date. Bisola, who had just walked back in, yes, she came back, chimed in. And me too. Same Ibadan. Same lie. It hit me. These women had been talking to each other, working together. This wasn't revenge. It was a coordinated, multi-layered Voltron-style takedown. And then... The door opened again. A soft voice said, Is this the police station? We all turned. Cynthia. She had returned too. She entered, took one look at the room, saw the cake stain on my head. The baby. Shoes the jollof and calmly asked, Has he confessed? Cynthia sat down like a judge. Cola, welcome to your judgment day. Call it Court of the Chopped Ladies. The others nodded. Bisola pulled out a projector remote. Where did she get it? A small portable projector lit up the wall. Slide. 1. Cola's Hall of Lies, an investigative breakdown. I tried to stand, the DPO signaled. Sit down and face your sins. They took turns reading. Bisola. On March 2nd you said you were at a company retreat. We found you at Mr. Biggs in Surulere, buying food with Gloria, Cynthia. April 5th, you told me your uncle died. But we saw your tagged Insta story at Amaka's place, wearing matching pajamas. Gloria. While you were praying and fasting. For clarity in Lekki, you were actually kissing Bisola on Snapchat. We screen recorded it. Amaka. And those 2 babies you thought were yours. Yeah, they're not. We faked it. Welcome to Emotional Damage, Inc. I collapsed. Like a failed NEPA transformer, mentally, spiritually, maritally. I was finished. Cynthia leaned forward. We knew you were a player, but you disrespected all of us, equally. So we came together, not for drama, but for closure. Gloria stood. "We're not here to destroy you. That would be too easy," Amaka added. "We're here to teach you. A masterclass in heartbreak, taught by 4 professors." Then Bisola stood, walked over, and dropped a small wrapped box on my lap. "Happy birthday, Kola. This is your real surprise." I opened it slowly, hoping maybe it was peace offering, or perfume, or at least chewing gum. It was a mirror with a note that read, "Look inside. That's the clown of the year." They all walked out together, hair swaying, faces glowing, laughing like they just left a spa. The police officers stood and clapped. Even the DPO saluted them. I sat there, with my cake-stained face, my lies exposed, my rice untouched, and my clown mirror in hand. The lesson: don't play with women who know Excel, screenshots, and each other. I now attend church regularly. I volunteer for ushering duty. I haven't said, "Hey, babe," to any woman in half a year. They call me Brother Cola. I call myself survivor of 4 babes and 1 cane. One time, a woman smiled at me during service. I ran to the pastor's office and asked for emergency deliverance. I still limped, but not from the cane, from the truth. I thought I was the breadwinner. I didn't know I was the bread they were about to eat. Poverty makes you creative. Some people pray. Some people beg. Some people enter Yahoo. I chose the third one, not because I wanted to, because hunger doesn't listen to Bible verses, because my mother's eyes had grown too hollow and my younger siblings' uniforms too torn, and because every day I came back home empty-handed. My father's silence grew heavier, like he was mourning me while I was still breathing. So I entered the game. Yahoo, wire, format loading, sweet mouth for clients, romance scams, package. At first it was small, a $500 gift card here. A small iTunes hustle there, nothing big, just enough to buy better food, pay the light bill, fix the leaking roof. My family didn't ask where the money came from. They praised me. "Our son has found favor. You are our Joseph. You are the one that will lift this family." I believed them, and so I worked harder. 3 years in, I leveled up. No more $500 gift cards, no more small clients. I was closing big fish now, lonely rich widows, divorced sugar mamas. Money poured in like rain. I bought my father a motorcycle. I paid my mother's hospital bills. I sent my siblings to private schools. I even started saving for land. A house of our own, away from the leaking ceilings, the moldy walls, the shame. I was the breadwinner, the golden goose. Or so I thought. Then came December. My uncle called from the village. "We must celebrate you! You have brought honor to our name. We must throw a big party." They planned it all, a Thanksgiving ceremony, a feast, a special family cleansing prayer to secure my blessings. It sounded strange, but love can blind you, and I loved them. Blindly. The night before the cleansing, I was housed in my uncle's compound, big house, freshly painted, filled with the smell of pepper soup and palm wine. Family I hadn't seen in years hugged me. Cousins grinned at me. Baba Ijebu. Bala. Big. Man. I felt proud. For the first time in my life, I felt seen. At midnight, they woke me up. Still half asleep, I followed them outside. The air was cold. The moon hid behind thick clouds. They led me deep into the bush behind the compound. There, in a clearing lit only by burning torches, I saw them. My father, my mother, my uncle, my siblings, some elders, all wearing white, all barefoot, all chanting something, low and rhythmic. Confused, I turned to my mother. She didn't answer. She just smiled, tight, sad, like a woman who loved her son but loved survival more. The oldest elder stepped forward, face wrinkled like old yam, eyes sharp like cutlass. He held a small, sharp knife glinting in the firelight. "You have fed them," he said. "Now it is time for you to feed them fully." I froze. The realization hit me slower than the cold creeping into my bones. I wasn't the guest of honor. I was the sacrifice, the breadwinner, the bread, about to be eaten. I stumbled backward. "Papa? Mama? What is this?" My father looked. Away, my mother cried, but didn't move. The elders closed in. The chanting grew louder. The shadows danced closer. The knife gleamed brighter. I ran. I didn't wait to hear the rest of the ritual. I didn't wait to see whose hand would draw my blood. I ran through the bush, tearing through thorns and branches, bare feet pounding against rough earth. I ran like my life depended on it, because it did. Behind me, I heard them. Shouts. Footsteps. The chanting still in the air, chasing me like a curse. My own family. The ones I bled for. The ones I fed. The ones who would rather eat me alive than lose their second chance at prosperity. I ran until my lungs burned, until the thorns shredded my skin, until the soles of my feet felt like they were peeling off. But I didn't stop, because stopping meant death. Stopping meant giving them what they wanted: my blood, my soul. The village wasn't safe anymore. Not the roads, not the forests, not even the people. Because when your own family decides you're better dead than alive, the whole village becomes one giant hunting ground. At dawn, I collapsed by a dry, gasping for air, body trembling. I looked back toward the village. Smoke rose from the trees. The faint sound of drums echoed in the morning air. They weren't mourning me. They were celebrating. Because they believed the sacrifice had been made. They believed I was already gone, but I was alive, bruised, bleeding, but alive, and now I had to disappear. I stumbled into the next town, covering myself. Fence. I needed help, money, safety. But more than that, I needed revenge. Because something inside me had snapped that night. Something that wasn't going to heal with time. I found a cheap cybercafe hidden between two abandoned buildings. Inside, broken fans whirred lazily. A handful of boys with cracked laptops hunched over keyboards. The owner, an old man with grey beards and tribal marks, looked at me once, then looked away. Smart man. In Nigeria, you mind your business, or you die. Curious, I paid for time with my last N500, logged in, and went back to what I knew best, Yahoo. But this time, I wasn't looking for lonely widows or sugar mamas. I was looking for something else: power. The kind of power that couldn't be taken by knives and chance. The kind of power you only find in the darkest corners of the internet. I dove deep. Past the fake loan scams. Past the romance bait sites, into the underbelly of Yahoo, the forbidden networks only whispered about. There I found it. A forum called the Red Market. A place where real spiritual hackers operated. Where men sold not just fake documents, but curses. Digital hexes. Spiritual firewalls. Protection money could never buy. I posted one message. Family betrayal. Need full lock protection. Price. No matter. 5 minutes later, a private message popped up. Username, Midnight Crawler. You survived a blood call. That means you are marked. I can help, but it will cost you more than money. I hesitated. My mind screamed no. My heart whispered yes. Because one thing was certain. If I didn't fight back, I would die. If not today, then tomorrow, or next week, or next year. Because once you escape a sacrifice, you don't get to live. Normal again. They will keep hunting, until either you are dead, or they are. I typed 2 words. I'm ready. The cafe around me buzzed with the dying hum of old computers. But on my screen, the world had already changed. Midnight Crawler sent the next message. Location? I typed fast, fingers shaking. Near Eka Ukwu Market, abandoned warehouse. Alone. Good. Stay there. The spirits are already tracking you. I didn't know if it was paranoia or real, but the air suddenly felt heavier, like 1,000 unseen hands were reaching for me. The screen flickered. Static danced across the monitor. Then a final message appeared. This will hurt. Before I could blink, the room spun. The computer lights melted into black and red blurs, my ears filled with a sound like cracking bones and howling wind. And somewhere deep in that madness, I felt it. Something entered me, not possession, not madness. A binding. I woke up on the dirty cafe floor minutes later. Alone, but different. I could feel them now. The ones that wanted my blood. The elders. My own father. My mother. Their greed floated in the air like smoke. Their betrayal vibrated against my skin like static electricity. And now, I could touch it, bend it, twist it. I stood up slowly, my shadow stretching long and thin across the broken tiled floor. I wasn't just running anymore, I was hunting too. Later that night, Midnight Crawler sent the final instructions. Go. Back. They are preparing a second sacrifice, but this time, you will be the hunter, not the goat. Back to the village. Back to the same dusty streets. Back to the same faces that used to kiss my feet and now sharpened knives behind their smiles. I didn't go in like a fool. No. I entered quietly. Through the bush. Through the back paths. Only hunters and witches used. The moon above was blood red, a bad omen for them, a good one for me. As I approached the clearing, I saw them, the elders, my father, my mother, my uncle, all dressed in white again, chanting, waiting. Another fire burned in the center of the circle. Beside it, tied up struggling, was my younger brother. My heart stopped. He was screaming. In through a cloth gag, eyes wild, tears streaming, they were sacrificing him. Because the first plan failed, and money must still flow. I stepped into the clearing, calm, cold, changed. The chanting faltered when they saw me. My father gasped. My uncle stumbled back. The eldest elder dropped his staff. Impossible, someone whispered. He was supposed to be dead. I smiled, but it wasn't my usual smile. It was something darker, something earned, something that had clawed its way out of betrayal and fire. I raised my hand. The air twisted. The fire shrank away. The torches flickered and died. The ground itself groaned. The spirits that once chased me now circled them, hungry, angry, waiting for my command. My voice came out low, rough, almost inhuman. You wanted blood. I stepped forward. You wanted a sacrifice. Another step. You forgot that blood can choose its vengeance. They dropped to their knees, begging, tears, snot, wailing. My son, forgive. It was the devil. We were deceived. I looked at my younger brother, still struggling, still crying. I remembered the nights I slept hungry so he could eat. I remembered the years I broke my back just to pay his school fees. And they had repaid me with betrayal, with a knife aimed at my... And now I had a knife too, but mine was spiritual and sharper. The elders knelt before me, shaking like children caught stealing. The same men who once held machetes and chants, who raised goats and sprinkled blood, were now whispering prayers with cracked voices. My son, forgive. Don't let the... or not like us, death. He wouldn't. Meet my eyes. I looked at my uncle, the one who suggested the cleansing. He was mumbling to himself. And then I looked at my mother. She was crying the hardest, not just out of fear, but guilt, real guilt. Her tears weren't for herself. They were for me, and for my brother, still tied to the tree, too shocked to move. The spirits surged. Give or take. You must finish the circle. I stepped forward. They screamed louder. Some tried to run. The spirits blocked them. No escape. Not tonight. But I didn't lift my hand to strike. I dropped the black feather charm in my palm, the one Midnight Crawler gave me. It hit the ground and vanished like smoke. The spirits paused, confused. So did the earth, so did the wind. I turned to the shadows and whispered, "Take me instead." A silence fell so thick it felt like the world had stopped spinning. My mother gasped. The elders wailed. Even the spirits seemed stunned. But I spoke louder this time. I broke the covenant when I ran. I defied the bloodline. Let the punishment fall on me, not my brother, not the boy who still has light in his eyes. The spirits circled slower, then faster, then stopped. Suddenly the air cleared. The fire reignited, golden and bright. The pit sealed itself, shut And in the wind, I heard a final whisper. You have passed, you remain, but you do not return unchanged. The spirits were gone. The elders collapsed. The clearing was quiet again. I walked over to my brother, untied him, held him for the first time in years, into my shoulder like he was 5 years old again. And I felt empty, not broken, not whole, just changed. That night I walked away from the village, not running, not hunted, just walking. And behind me I left everything. The family that betrayed. They said I won't make it. Not just one person, everybody in my village. From the woman who sells pepper to my uncle who always smells like palm wine. They all said the same thing.
This was just a dream. You're not gonna make calm.
And honestly, they weren't wrong about the dreaming part. I do dream big, loud, dangerous dreams. Dreams that make people laugh and shake their heads like I'm mad. You see, I grew up in Umwokoro, a small village where everybody knows your name, your father's name, and even your great-grandfather's secrets. And in this time, they believe your future is what your father did. So since my papa was a palm wine tapper, I was supposed to follow the rope. Climb the tree and tap the wine. End of story. But me? I wanted more. I wanted to see planes, not just see them fly over our sky like proud birds, but actually sit inside one. I wanted to design things, build things, maybe become an engineer. I didn't even know what engineers really did, but it sounded powerful. That was the beginning of my wahala. The first time I told my mother I wanted to be an engineer, she paused while turning Gary on the fire and said,
Engineer, with which money? Now first order job. Now bits.
But I didn't stop dreaming. I started fixing radios in the village, broken torches, fans, even Mama Ngozi's old sewing machine. Anything I could open and scatter, I tried to fix. People started calling me the boy way sabi wire, but still, they laughed behind my back. When I passed WAEC, some said I cheated. When I got admission into a polytechnic, others said I would drop out after one semester. When I finally left for school, my uncle called me one night and said, better learn. Mechanic for that side. This book, no go carry you reach anywhere. But guess what? I didn't stop. Even when I was sleeping in uncompleted buildings during school breaks because I didn't have transport back home. Even when I hawked pure water and fixed people's phones just to survive. Even when I failed my first exam and cried like a baby in the hostel, I didn't stop. Because deep down, I knew if I fail, they win. And I no agree. Now I'm in my final year. I've built 2 tech prototypes that my lecturers use as examples in class. I run a small business online fixing gadgets. I've even been invited to speak in 3 other schools about my journey. But funny enough, I know all this. They still think I'm somewhere suffering. Still call me that. Bewego soon return. Still laugh when they pass my mother's shop and say,
Your son still they waste time for that polytechnic.
The first time I came home after 2 years, it was not planned. I had just finished my industrial training, and the man I was working under dashed me 10,000 naira. That 10,000 looked like 1 million in my eyes. I quickly used transport and came back to the village, not to show off, but to see my mother. I missed her as I entered the village on that hot Thursday afternoon, dust rising behind the Okada that brought me. I saw them. The same people, Mama Ifeoma, still at her pepper stand. My uncle, still holding his gourd of palm wine. Even Chidera, my childhood friend, now a tailor, who once told me, Guy, forget school, come learn work. They all saw me. Some looked surprised. Others just hissed. I walked straight to our compound, and the first thing I saw was my mother bending beside her cooking stove, fanning the fire with a broken plate. When she saw me, she didn't talk at first. She just stared. Then she shouted. She ran to me, wiped her hands on her wrapper, and hugged me tightly. The hug nearly broke my ribs, but I didn't complain. That hug was warmer than any food. That evening, word spread fast. Chuka is back! Some people came to greet me, but you could see it in their eyes. They came to confirm if I had failed or dropped out. Some asked small questions like,
You still did at your school? You never tire for that city life. You know one learn mechanic again.
I just smiled, because I realized something. They just didn't understand me. They were used to a certain way of life. You go school small, drop out, come back, marry, and start farming or trading. Anything outside that was madness. But I wasn't mad. I was focused. Later that night, while my mother served me ibe with bitter leaf soup, she looked at me and said something that made my chest tight. Chuka, you dey try. No mind them. Even me. Sometimes I no understand your journey. But I dey pray for you. That was all I needed. You see, I didn't need everybody to believe in me. I just needed one person. One prayer. One reason to keep pushing, and I did. After that visit, I went back to school with fire in my bones. I registered for a national tech competition. I stayed up many nights building a simple solar-powered charger for rural homes. And guess what? I won second place. They gave me a laptop, some cash prize, and a free training with a tech company in Lagos. That was the turning point. From that moment, doors started opening. People began to notice. Strangers online shared my project. Someone even said, "This boy from Nigeria will go far." But back in Umokoro, they still didn't know. They still thought I was a boy with big head and bigger dreams. They still said I wouldn't make it. But I'm not done proving them wrong, because one day, very soon, I will return again. Not on an Okada. Not dusty and tired. I will return in a clean car, maybe with a small camera crew, just for fun. And I will go to Mama Ifeoma's stand, smile at her, and buy all her pepper. Then I'll look at her and say, "Mama, your pepper go well with jollof inside air-conditioned kitchen." I didn't plan to go viral. All I did was post a short video on Instagram. It showed my solar-powered charger, the one I built for the tech competition. I just wanted to inspire a few students like me. But within days, boom, over 200,000 views. Comments from people in the US, UK, Ghana, South Africa. One man even messaged me saying, "Young man, I believe in your dream. I want to sponsor your next project." I didn't cry. I just laid down on my hostel bed and stared at the ceiling for a long time. Because for the first time, somebody outside my mother believed. Meanwhile, in Umokoro, things were happening. Suddenly, my uncle, who used to mock me, started telling people that my nephew did do well. Oh, I always knew he had sense. Even Mama Ifeoma, the pepper woman, now greeted my mother with, "Son is lucky, oh. The boy get destiny." Destinika, just months ago, they said. That boy too, de form Oyibo. Now they were calling me our village pride. Funny how people switch when your story starts sounding sweet. I didn't let it get to my head, though, because the truth is I was still struggling. The journey wasn't soft. I was still sleeping with fan as AC. Still eating Gary and groundnut on most days. Still battling doubts and delays. But I was no longer alone. I now had a voice. I had proof that even a village boy with nothing but dreams can shake the world. Then came the big one. I got an email. It read, "Congratulations, you've been selected for our fully funded tech incubation program in Germany." Germany, as in the same Germany I used to draw flags of in primary school. That Germany. I ran out of the cyber cafe shouting like a mad person. People on the street looked at me confused. One woman said, "That be for this generation. Every small thing dem go shout, if only she knew." I didn't tell anyone in the village yet. I wanted it to be a surprise. So I planned my homecoming. Not with pride, but with peace. I entered Umuokoro this time in a clean Toyota Corolla, the car my sponsor helped me get. I wore a plain black shirt and jeans, no designer labels, just neat and respectful. But the dust still rose as I drove into the village, just like the first time. Children ran behind the car. "See big man! See big man!" Mama Ifeoma stood, mouth open. My uncle dropped his cup of palm wine, and my mother, she came out running. Wrapper barely tied, her hands on her head shouting, "Jesus! Jesus, is this my son?" I came down from the car, hugged her and whispered, "Mama, your prayers worked," she cried. But before I could say another word, people started gathering. Phones came out. Pictures started snapping. Somebody even asked for a selfie, and that was when I saw him, Chidera, my old friend, the tailor who once said I would drop out. He looked at me, shook his head slowly, and said, "Guy, I no go lie. I didn't see this coming. The end. Germany is waiting, because I did. New challenges are ahead. I always did. I've made it this far, not to stop, but to go even further. Because if a village boy like me can do it, anybody can. So the next time you hear someone say, my village. People said I won't make it. Tell them. Neither did mine. But I did anyway. Germany was cold. Not just cold, like Harmattan breeze in the village, I mean real ice inside your bones cold. The moment I came out of the airport, I almost ran back in. I was wearing the thickest jacket I owned, but this cold was not for the weak. Still, I smiled. Because I wasn't in Umuokoro anymore, I was in Germany. Me Chuka from Umuokoro. Standing in a land I only saw in textbooks. The first week was like a dream. Tall buildings, electric trains, clean roads, people walking fast like they were chasing time. Everything was sharp, precise, and organized. It felt like the future. I was staying in a student hostel with young tech minds from India, Brazil, Kenya, even Canada. We were all selected for the same incubation program. We had mentors, access to laptops that cost more than a plot of land, and daily workshops on innovation and design thinking. I won't lie. At first I felt small. These people were speaking tech grammar I didn't understand. They were using software I had never touched. Some had started companies. Me? I was just a village boy with passion. I almost gave up on the third day. That night I sat by the window, staring at the snow falling gently outside, and I remembered the words again. That boy won't make it. I clenched my fist. No, I whispered. I didn't come this far to doubt myself. From that night, I changed gear. I started staying up after classes, learning every tool they mentioned. I watched YouTube tutorials. I asked questions. I became the student who didn't sleep. Slowly, things began to shift. My ideas got better. I started building a prototype, a smart solar box that could power an entire kiosk in any rural area. Think of Mama Ifeoma and her pepper stall. Now imagine her stall with light, fan, and even phone charging all from one solar box. When I presented the room went quiet. Then the lead mentor said, "This is not just brilliant, this is needed." They gave me a round of applause. That night I cried. Not because I was sad, but because I had carried the spirit of Umuokoro all the way to Europe. And it was winning. After that, interviews started coming in, invitations to tech expos, even German newspapers wanted to hear my story. One reporter asked, "What drives you?" And I said, "My village people said I won't make it, so I had no choice but to make it big." Meanwhile, back in the village, my mother became a local celebrity. People now came to her shop just to greet her and hear updates. My uncle now introduced himself as Uncle to the Boy, Wade, Germany. And Mama Ifeoma? She started calling her pepper stall Chuka's Corner, but deep down, I knew I hadn't reached my destination. Germany wasn't the end. It was the beginning. Because my goal wasn't just to succeed abroad. My goal was to go back and build something real in my village. To prove that success isn't just escaping your roots, it's using your success to water the same soil that raised you. I never left Umuokoro in my heart. Every time I stood in a clean tech lab in Germany, I remembered our broken generator. Every time I saw a smart vending machine, I thought of Mama Ifeoma's pepper basket. Every light bulb I saw reminded me of the darkness in my village when NEPA takes light. So after finishing the tech incubation program, I used my grant money, not to buy designer clothes or build mansion in the city, but to build something they had never seen before, a tech hub in Umuokoro. I called it Dream Tech Center. It was painted sky blue with solar panels on the roof. Inside I placed 6 computers, 2 printers, 1 solar-powered generator, and shelves of books on technology, agriculture, and business. The idea was simple. Teach young people how to dream, and then show them how to make it real. When I returned, this time I didn't come quietly. I invited the whole village. We set up canopies, speakers, chairs. My mother wore a brand new wrapper and couldn't stop smiling. My uncle came early, wearing sunglasses like a celebrity. Even Chidera the tailor made a new outfit, just for that day. When I stepped forward to speak, the mic shook in my hands, not from fear but emotion. I looked at everyone and said, "Some, if you didn't believe in me. But today, I'm not here to shame anyone. I'm here to show what happens when one person believes in himself and never gives up. People clapped. Some nodded slowly. A few wiped tears. Then I cut the ribbon. And from that moment, Umokoro changed. Children who had never touched a computer before were now learning how to type. Young girls were learning graphic design. Boys who once mocked me were now volunteering to teach others. We started holding monthly tech boot camps. Students came from nearby villages. I even brought in some of my friends from Lagos and Germany to give virtual classes. We gave scholarships. We fixed solar lights around the village. We showed films in the evenings that taught farming with modern tools. And slowly, my village, people started saying something new. Who would have thought that boy really made it and came back for us? But me? I just smiled. Because this was the real success, not the flight to Germany, not the viral video, not the car. It was this, planting light in a place that once said I would never shine. The DreamTech Center was booming. Every evening, the compound was filled with children tapping on keyboards, laughing, learning, asking questions. Even parents started coming not for tech, but to understand what was changing their children's minds. But with success came problems. The first challenge was envy. Some elders said I was doing too much. One said, "He wants to take over the village." Another whispered, "He's spoiling our children with Oyibo sense." Then came the sabotage. One day, I walked into the center and found the solar cables cut. Someone had destroyed them in the night. Another time, our chairs were stolen. A few students stopped coming. Their parents said I was using juju. It broke me. I sat alone one night, under the same udala tree where I used to dream. And I asked myself, did I make a mistake coming back? But then, I heard footsteps. It was one of the girls, Ada. She used to sell roasted maize, but now she was the best in our graphic design class. She stood beside me and said, "Oga Chuka, don't stop. You're the reason I know I'm more than a village girl." That night, I wiped my face, stood up, and decided, let them fight me. I'll keep building. We replaced the stolen chairs. We installed CCTV cameras. I called for a community meeting, not to fight, but to explain what we were building. I said, "This center is not mine. It is ours. If you burn it, you burn the future of your own children." That speech changed hearts. Slowly, even my biggest critics became my strongest allies. Elders brought food during boot camps. Youths guarded the building at night. Umokoro had finally seen the light. And so we rose. Today, DreamTech Center has trained over 300 young people. Some now work in Lagos. One just got a remote job from Canada. Ada. She's now designing posters for big churches and wedding events across the state. And me, I still walk the dusty roads of Umokoro. Not with pride, but with peace. Because I did what they said I couldn't. And I didn't just make it, I helped others make it too.
Knaka, let us run away together and get married. You know I love you so much.
Emika, please, let's not do this.
In a land where love is whispered beneath the trees, in a village where duty and dreams collide, comes a story of two hearts, tested by fate, bound by love.
In a small village called Omaha, everyone knew each other. The people were kind, the air was fresh, and children ran around barefoot, laughing. In that village lived a beautiful girl named Nika. She had the brightest smile and the softest voice. She helped her mother in the market every day, selling vegetables. There was also a boy named Ibuka. He was tall, dark, and strong. He worked on his father's farm and was always full of jokes. Everyone said he would make a good husband one day. But Ibuka did not care about what people said. He only cared about Nika. Nika and Ibuka grew up together. They played by the riverside, fetched water from the stream, and watched the stars at night. As they got older, their friends every evening, they met under the old Udala tree near the hill. They talked about their dreams. Ibuka wanted to open a big farm, and Nika wanted to go to nursing school. "I will marry you one day," Ibuka told her one night, holding her hand. "I will wait for you." Nika smiled, no matter how long it takes. But life in the village was not always fair. One day Nika's father called her. He said a rich trader from the city had come to ask for her hand in marriage. The man had cars, money, and promised to take care of her family. Nika begged her father to say no. She cried and cried, but her father had already said yes. Ebuka heard the news from the palm wine tapper. He rushed to Nika's house, but her mother said she was not allowed to see him anymore. He sat alone, under the udala tree, waiting, hoping. Ebuka waited under the udala tree every evening. He hoped Nika would come, even just to say goodbye, but she never came. One night, as the moon shone brightly and the crickets sang, Nika came quietly. She wore a wrapper and had tears in her eyes. "Ebuka," she said softly. He stood up quickly. "Nika, I thought I would never see you again." She ran into his arms, crying. "I did not want to marry that man. I begged my father, but he said I must obey. He says love cannot feed a family." Ebuka's voice shook. "But we had plans. We were supposed to build our life together." "I know," she whispered. "But my father says this is best for all of us." They sat under the tree, holding hands in silence. The stars blinked above them. Nika placed something in Ebuka's palm. It was a necklace he had made for her long ago from cowrie shells. "Keep this," she said, "so you won't forget me." "I can never forget you, Nika." Ebuka replied, "You are in my heart forever." A week later, the whole village gathered for Neka's traditional marriage. There were drums, dancing, and cooking pots everywhere. But Nika's smile was missing. She looked like a bird trapped in a cage. Ebuka didn't go to the ceremony. He stayed by the river, throwing stones into the water, thinking about how dreams can be stolen. From that day, things changed. Ebuka stopped smiling. He worked on the farm from morning till night and barely talked to anyone. Nika was taken to the city by her new husband. Nobody heard from her again. Months passed. Rain came, the sun came, and the mango trees bore fruit again. But nothing felt the same for Ebuka. He still walked past the udala tree every day, hoping Nika would return. He stopped making jokes. The village people noticed. "Love has broken Ebuka," the old women said. Meanwhile, in the faraway city, Nika was not happy. Her husband, the rich trader, was never around. He traveled often, and when he came back, he hardly spoke to her. She stayed in a big house with shiny floors, but it felt cold. No one laughed like in the village. No one played under trees. No one called her Adam like Ebuka used to. One night, Nika sat by the window, holding the old cowrie shell necklace. In her hand, she had hidden it in her box. Tears rolled down her face. Back in Nkalogu, Ebuka began to write letters he never sent. He wrote to Neka about his day, about the farm, about the river, about the way the udala tree now looked older. But one day, a strange thing happened. A young girl from the next village came to buy yams from Ebuka's farm. After collecting her yams, she whispered, "Are you Ebuka?" He nodded. She looked around and handed him a small folded paper. She said, "You should read it." When you're alone, Ebuka took the note, heart beating fast. His hands shook as he opened it. It was Nika's handwriting. "Ebuka, I am not happy. I miss the river. I miss the tree. I miss you. Every day I wish I had run away with you. If I come back, will you still be there?" Ebuka stared at the note, his heart heavy and full. He looked up at the udala tree. The wind blew gently, just like the night they last sat together. Ebuka read the letter again and again. His heart beat fast drum at a village festival. For the first time in many months, he smiled just a little. He folded the letter neatly and placed it in the small wooden box where he kept her cowrie. From that day, he returned to the udala tree every evening. He cleaned the ground beneath it, sat on a small mat, and waited. He didn't know when she would come, or she even could, but he waited. Back in the city, Nika made a decision. Her husband had traveled. That night, she packed a small bag. She didn't take clothes, the things, her necklace, last photo she had, and her slippers. Ordered a small bus, the slowly over rough roads in towns and forests, the necklace tight in her, and out the window. What would happen? She was going home. Sun was setting, a polo dot everything, the dusty road, the children running, roasted, but something. She walked quickly toward the udala, her eyes wide with hope. Abu was already there. He sat, resting his back on the tree, holding a piece of wood he had been carving. When he looked up and saw her, he froze. Nika, he whispered, not sure if he was dreaming. She nodded, tears already falling. I came back, she said. I don't know what will happen next, but I couldn't stay away. Abuka stood up slowly. For a moment, they just stared at each other. No words, no noise. Above them, then he held her, and the paint melted for a moment. But just as peace touched them again, a loud voice shouted from behind the bushes. Nika, they turned quickly. It was her husband's driver. Her husband's driver, a tall man with a sharp face and dark sunglasses, stepped out from behind the bushes. His voice was loud and angry. Madam, your husband said I should bring you back right now. Ibuka moved in front of Nika. She's not going anywhere. She came here on her own. The driver allowed me. Her husband owns 3 shops in the city. He said if I don't bring her back, I shouldn't return. Nika held Ibuka's arm tightly. Her voice was low but firm. I am not his prisoner. He doesn't love me. I don't want to go back. The driver pointed at her. You'll bring shame to your family. Do you want your father to be called a failure? Ibuka stepped forward. Tell her husband to come himself if he wants to take her. More villagers were coming out now. Some women from nearby farms had stopped working. Children stood behind trees, peeking on old man. Papa Ozo walked slowly to the scene. He was the oldest man in Enkalogu, with a white beard and wise eyes. He looked at the driver and said calmly, This is not the city. Here, we don't force people. Asterisk, the driver clicked his tongue. I'll be back, he warned. Then he walked away, kicking dust as he went. The people started to whisper. Some were shocked. Others were proud of Nika's courage. That night, Nika and Ibuka sat again under the udala tree. She laid her head on his shoulder. I don't know what will happen next, she said. Ibuka looked up at the stars. We'll face it together. But deep down, they both knew that trouble was not over. Her father might still be angry. Her husband might return, and the village. Some people might turn their backs. Still, Nika had made her choice, and under the in the quiet night, 2 hearts beat as one brave, scared but full of love. The next morning, the village was buzzing. Some people praised Nika. She followed her heart, they said. Others shook their heads. She has brought shame to her family, they whispered. But Nika and Ibuka didn't hide. They walked through the village. Together, heads held high. When they reached Nika's father's compound, staring into space, her mother stood at the doorway, wiping her eyes with the end of her wrapper. Papa Neka said, kneeling down. He didn't speak. Please, forgive me. I know I disobeyed you, but I was not happy. I couldn't live that life anymore. Her father's eyes were red, but he didn't look at her. You think life is about happiness? He said. It's about duty, about sacrifice. I gave that man my word. I know, Papa, but I couldn't lie to myself. I couldn't lie to you, Ibuka stepped forward, sir. I may not be rich, but I love your daughter. I will work day and night to care for her. Her father turned his gaze to Ibuka, stared for a long moment, then stood up slowly and walked into the house without saying a word. Nika's mother came closer and held her daughter tightly. My child, she whispered, love is not a crime, but this path you have chosen will not be easy. That night, Nika stayed with her mother. Ibuka walked home alone under the stars, wondering what tomorrow would bring. 3 days later, a black jeep drove into the village. A black jeep drove into the village. The rich trader Nika's husband had come. He stepped out, wearing dark glasses and a fine white outfit. 4 men came with him. They didn't smile. He marched straight to Nika's father's house. Villagers followed behind, whispering, I want my wife, he said. Nika stepped out of the house and stood before him. I'm not coming back. He raised his voice. You think this boy can give you what I can? You'll suffer with him. Ibuka arrived just then. He had heard the noise from his farm. He didn't speak. He simply stood beside Nika and held her hand. The rich man laughed. You've made your choice. Good. But don't come back crying when hunger slaps you. He turned to Nika's father. You will regret this. Then he walked back to his car and drove off, dust rising behind him like a storm. The crowd was silent. Nika's father stood by the door, watching everything. He brought fire into this house. But Papa, she said, sometimes love is worth the fire. Life wasn't easy for Nika and Ibuka. After the rich trader left the village, some whispered things like, let's see how long love can cook soup, or she left gold for sand. But Nika and Ibuka didn't listen. He came to Enkologu. He was looking for someone to supply fresh farm produce to his restaurant chain. People in the village pointed him to Ibuka's farm. The businessman tasted Ibuka's tomatoes and smiled. You're the one I've been looking for, he said. That same month, Ibuka signed his first big contract. It was worth millions of naira. He expanded his farm, hired workers, and even bought a delivery van. He also built a small farmhouse at the edge of the village. People couldn't believe it. The boy they once mocked had now become one of the richest young farmers in the region. 6 months later, Ibuka and Nika had their traditional wedding. But this time, it was grander than her first marriage. There were drummers, dancers, and colorful decorations everywhere. Guests came from many villages. Even the man from the city who gave Ibuka the contract attended and brought a gift. Cow Nika's father sat in front, proud and quiet. At the end of the ceremony, he stood up, walked to Ibuka and Nika, and said, I was wrong. You have brought honor to this family. I forgive you, my daughter. Nika hugged him, tears in her eyes. Her mother smiled wide and said, You see, you followed your heart, and God followed you with blessings. That night, under the stars, Ibuka held Nika's hand and whispered, I told you one day we would be happy. Nika smiled. Now, I am not just married to a rich man, I'm married to the man I love. Toyers. Later, Nika gave birth to twins, a boy and a girl. The village women danced and sang for 3 days. Ibuka named the boy Chimdi and the girl Alubub. People came from far and near to see the twins of the famous farmer and his beautiful wife. Some who once mocked them now used their story to teach their daughters that true love, patience, and faith can build the sweetest home. And every evening, when the sun was going down, Ibuka, Nika, and the twins would walk to the old Udala tree, sit under its shade, and tell them the story of a love that was tested but never broken.
When I saw both of them standing in my room, one holding birthday cake, the other holding cane, I knew my life was over. It is my birthday funeral rehearsal. My name is Kola. And until this incident, I was enjoying life like small chops at a wedding. Sweet, messy, and scattered. I had a full-package girlfriend on the island, Bisola, banker. Clean accent, smooth skin. The type that says, "Let's do brunch," and orders avocado toast like she knows what avocado really is. Then there was my mainland babe, Cynthia. Pepper soup seller by day, slay queen by night, loud, loyal. The kind of woman that says, "If you cheat on me, I go scatter your destiny." So of course I lied to both of them. To Bisola, I'm always working late. To Cynthia, "Island girls no fit understand me, now you be my peace." Na so I dey balance sin with sweet mouth until that cursed Thursday. That morning I got 2 texts. Bisola, "Baby, make sure you're home by 7 p.m. today. I have a surprise for you. You'll love it." I smiled like a thief who just saw free meat until I saw Cynthia's message. "Kola! 7 p.m. sharp. Day your house. I won't spoil you today." 2 women, same time, same house. In that moment, I knew I was the GOAT, not greatest, of all time. But the one about to be used for emotional sacrifice, I started sweating like Nepopole during thunderstorm. I tried to lie my way out. I told both of them I was sick. Bisola replied, "Even better, I'll bring soup and medicine." Cynthia said, "Perfect, I'll bring pepper soup and bitters." That's when I knew. Now there he go happen. PM. The beginning of my downfall. He heard the knock. Soft at first, like doom with eyelashes. I opened the door and saw both of them, side by side. Smiling like demons on promo, Bisola holding balloons and birthday cake. Cynthia holding cane. And what looked like a laminated list of my lies. I wanted to faint. My spirit actually attempted to exit my body, but the door was blocked. "Happy birthday," they both said. At that moment, my phone slipped from my hand, my legs weakened, and I knew God had logged out. They entered, locked the door. Bisola placed the cake on my table like it was an offering to a doomed god. Cynthia adjusted her slippers and said, "Shall we begin?" The interrogation began. Bisola pulled out an envelope and said, "Here's a timeline of your cheating." Slide 1, me texting her "Good night, baby," while I was literally at Cynthia's place eating catfish pepper soup. Slide 2, screenshot of me calling them both my piece on the same day. Slide 3, my famous line, "I've never felt this way about anyone before." Apparently, I had told both of them that. And one other babe on Twitter. Cynthia raised her cane like Moses parting the Red Sea. I tried to run. She stretched and locked the door with one foot like an FBI agent in slippers. My TV blinked. "Even Nepa refused to save me, I begged." They smiled. Then it began. Cynthia didn't waste time. She pointed the cane at me like she... Cynthia replied, "Every week, including last night." They both high-fived. Tears gathered in my eyes. I looked up and asked God, "Is this how Judas felt?" The WhatsApp voice note that killed me twice. Then Bisola brought out her phone. She played a voice note I had sent her a week ago. The one where I said, "You know I'm not like those Lagos boys. I don't play games. I'm ready for marriage. If only you'd just say yes." Then Cynthia pulled her own phone and played my exact words. Same sentence, same voice crack for dramatic effect. At this point, I was crying. Not the normal guy tears. I was sobbing like a baby goat lost in traffic. Then Cynthia said the worst words a man can hear. "Kola, remove your shirt. This beating is spiritual." I obeyed. When you're in trouble and the only thing between you and disgrace is obedience, you become humble like soaked bread. The neighborhood news agency activates unknown to me. The drama had gone viral in real life. My compound people outside with plastic chairs, watching. Somebody even brought popcorn. One woman shouted from outside, "Cynthia! Beat him well. Na him tell my niece say she no get wife material." Another man added, "Omo, make person stream this thing on Instagram live oh." I was now trending in my own compound. Then, Bisola stood up. That's when I knew the situation had gone from frying pan to cremation. She said, "I'm done. You're a fraud, a manipulator, a low-budget Yoruba demon. Then she walked to the table, carried her birthday cake, and smashed it on my head. Butter icing entered my eyes. The candle stabbed my forehead gently, like a Then she did the worst thing. She turned to Cynthia and said, "Let's go. Who is Baby G?" Baby G is Gloria. My third leg of the triangle, the one I kept off social media, off WhatsApp, strictly Snapchat and Telegram. Lagos babe with curves that can cause visa rejection. I only see her on weekdays, when Bisola is at work